was a really good weekend for us. We started out yesterday in free practice 1, top of the times, which is the first time I've ever done that in the British touring cars. So straight away, confidence was high. We backed it up in free practice 2 with P2 in that one. Again, it was really good. Like, the car was on rails, it was dynamite. So that rolled us into qualifying, and yeah, qualifying went really good. It was it was my second best qualifying I've ever had in the British touring cars. So yeah, to line up in 5th was brilliant. Just ahead of Alan, the two of us pretty much on identical pace. So yeah, that left us in good shape, to be honest. In the dry, I figured we would be probably one of the cars to beat come race 1. The heavens opened, as they would. They like to throw in a curveball, I always find. So that made it a little bit more tricky for us. Learning a new car on the wet is always challenging, especially when you just go straight into a race. So yeah, race 1 was a bit tentative, just kind of getting a feel for the car, learning what the balance is. So to end up 9th in race 1, it wasn't the start I wanted, to be honest. I thought we would, in the drive, we would have challenged for the podium. But again, consolidation of points, getting a good finish. It's moved us up in the championship. Race 2, we kind of went more towards a generic wet setup. We ended up 8th, which moving forward 1 is always good. But it showed the indication that the engineers had chosen was the way to go, which is important, because then you have a direction, you have a path, and you know what to do with the car. Race 3, it dried up for that one. So again, once it dried up, we were probably the car to beat on Saturday in the dry, so I knew this was our chance. We were starting 8th, and I got a good start, good run down at the turn 1. Unfortunately there, we were tagged by a bit of an over-optimistic move from Fabrizio. It bent the right rear, which you can tolerate around here because it doesn't lean on the right rear that much. So I kind of just carried on as if nothing was going to happen. So I think we were still comfortably inside the top 8. And then there was a bit of an incident behind the safety car with Fabrizio once again. It was just it was one of those things. It was a mistake, in fairness. Both of those accidents with himself were both mistakes. They weren't meant to happen. He wasn't trying to take me out. It sent us through the gravel behind the safety car. I think we lost 6 or 7 places, so we got shuffled right back to well outside the top 10. The safety car came in and we fought really hard. We got back up to say about 7th. But unfortunately, with the damage that had happened to the steering, like when that happens, you're normally fine for the first few laps, but then the tyre pressures just go through the roof, which is exactly what happened. So from that point onwards, for the last 5 or 6 laps, it was kind of like driving on chewing gum. So it was pretty challenging. So yeah, that leads us on to Truxton. Truxton is renowned as being the Passat's track. We saw last year it had a double podium there, and I think it's pretty safe to say that it's in a different league than what it was last year. So car has come on leaps and bounds. I expect our car to be as quick as what I showed in free practice at Donington, so I would anticipate to challenge for pole, to be perfectly honest, which is what we were doing here today.